Alright everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name's William Fleming. I work for Dell. Alright? I used to work for the department until the end of last year, so some of you will have come across me as a project manager putting out cases refresh a couple of times, wireless in schools, chess, various other things like that. And so, I've cut a long story short, I've swapped over and gone from being a customer to a supplier. Most interesting change. So, being the least important speaker today, it's appropriate to put me on first, and I'm happy to do that. I get my own PowerPoint here. The test of a good public speaker is, can you function without PowerPoint? I probably can't, but we'll give it our best shot anyway. I have the advantage that my main focus today is to tell you about the products we've got. I think that is the most least interesting thing, but we'll cover that and get it out of the way. I would love to have shown you this picture. Hold on for a second, you'll be able to see this. What I want to do is put things in perspective here. You're going to hear from Newcomb Secondary College, our gracious hosts. Now the problem is, they're going to tell you about their good program. I just want to be honest and upfront, okay? I've been down here a couple of times, and I've taken a picture of their computer room. So this is the sort of equipment you're going to need, right, if you want to run a program like Newcomb's. But that's okay, because I'm happy to come and sell you lots of this stuff, alright, no worries at all. So, don't be misled thinking you can do it on a shoestring budget. Alright, I'm going to skip my Be Open video. Now I'm going to tell you about that for a second because I can't help myself. I've got a video which some of you will have seen before, and my message is, and it's good that I get it to you now, is I want you today, during this process, to be open. Alright, so the video I was going to show you, and some of you might have seen it before, is you've got a room of people passing a ball to one another. In fact, you've got two teams of people, one set in white and one set in black. And what I would have asked you to do was have a look at the teams, it only goes for 2 minutes, and count the number of times they pass the ball. Alright? That's your job. Now what happens is, typically, you'll do that and about half of you will get it right. And the number of passes of the ball is 16. But what happens is, more than half of you, if you haven't seen it before, miss the fact that a gorilla appears and wanders onto the screen and then wanders off. Amazingly, there's a guy in a gorilla suit who's dressed in black who wanders on and wanders off. And at least half of you would miss that. I missed it when I saw it because you're concentrating on doing your job. So today, you're looking for various things. Just be open-minded, it's true of life. Be open-minded about whether opportunities, ideas and things that you might see rather than the thing that you thought you came to focus on. Okay, very briefly, because I know we'll have the power back on, and I'm going to show you product in a second, but I've got a slide up about pros and cons. And today's about one-to-one sustainability, so I just want to make a couple of key points. I could put up lots of models, alright? Let me go this one. Let me go, what do I call it? School provided. So these are my options. I'm just going to give you about 3. School provided. School nominates. Parents purchase. I think I speak better than I write. 1, 2, 3, and it's dreadful to use it. There'll come a time when I'm going to stop saying BYOD, because if you ask people what BYOD means, everyone in the room will have a different view of that. Alright, but basically, kids turn up bringing their own devices, literally anything. And there's various variations of this. What the point I'm going to make to you is, you've all probably, some of you have made decisions about this, some of you are trying to make decisions about this. Alright, there are pros and cons with all of these. Alright, so very briefly, this one, and this is my opinion, doesn't make it right, this one has got the highest service level. So, the kids get the best service. The parents get the best device. Alright, no, sorry, not the parents get the best device. It's consistent. Teachers, by far the best environment for teachers in my opinion, where it's absolutely consistent device. Everyone's got the same thing. You've got an IT group that generally looks after the equipment. It's absolutely repeatable, and it's got a whole standard set of software on there. Highest delivery model, in my opinion. Alright? The other thing that I've been banging on about recently when I've been visiting schools. It's only just dawned on me. Keep this in mind when we compare these two. Some schools are moving this way. I'll talk about this at the end. But basically, we've got schools going between these two. Probably more looking at this way because of course funding. This in theory's got advantages funding, but keep this in mind. When a school buys, let's pick a real example. You've got a school and you've got year 7 and year 10 and you're going to do 150 devices for each year. So you're going to buy 300 devices. So in this, the school buys 300 devices for the year. They'll last for 3 years. Here, the parents are going to buy 300 devices. All good, except that these parents here are going to pay a 10% penalty. I will give you the same price. So you come to me and you say, hey, listen, we want to nominate a LAT 10 and a blah, blah, an X and Y and Z that we're about to show you. We nominate these devices, and I'll give parents exactly the same price I give for the school buying all 300. So let's ignore Dell for a second. The school doesn't effectively pay GST because it gets it back. The parents all have to pay GST. Now, on top of that, so that's a straight 10%, end of story. On top of that, for those of you who listen to Liz today, who's our finance person, Dell Financial Services, the difference in financing, where it's required, between what the school can leverage and what parents can leverage is chalk and cheese. Just keep those things in mind. That doesn't mean you're not going to go this way, but just be aware of it. All right? This isn't necessarily a better deal for kids. And I, as Dell, I can support either. So I'm not really biased either way. The big advantage of this is schools don't have to be involved with the day-to-day dramas. If I look at my list here, I've got the cons with this: less control, varied devices, and policy in use. Now, before I move on, because it's not the point of my talk today, BYOD, a couple of things on that. For that to be successful in a school, and by BYOD, let me give you a definition. School might nominate a divide or might not nominate anything. Parents may be told, listen, we need it to have so much memory and it needs to have these bits and pieces on it. Some schools say, look, we really don't care what you turn up with, as long as you can type a document in Notepad or something and do a PowerPoint and get onto the internet. In that environment, and kids are going to turn up with mobile phones and all sorts of things, you're going to need extremely skillful teachers to manage the environment where, okay kids, we're going to do this, I need you to type this document, and half the kids say, well, we can't do it that way or whatever. A good teacher probably can manage that, but I think it's going to be a challenge. All right? But having said that, so I'm talking the negatives there, having said that, I see us very much, this is the wave that's unstoppable. More and more devices at home, kids being better with the devices than we are, etc., etc. All right? There's a whole series of pros and cons on those, and hopefully some of that will emerge from today. I've got a diagram. I'll draw the diagram. Oh, here we are. Have a look at this. My diagram looks quite simple. 2 axes. August 2000 and whatever. January, start of the year. Something like that. Anyone want to hazard a guess at what that's a diagram of?
Australian dollar.
Can you tell that I work for a computer company where our prices are going up? I'm just trying to justify these exorbitant prices. So what we've got is, we've gone from, as you all know, well over parity, and it's gone down. Last week, I was privileged I was up for training in Sydney, and they rolled in senior economist from Westpac. He was really, really interesting, had all sorts of interesting stuff to say. But his view on the world, now being an economist means it probably won't happen, his view on the world is, we're not going to get back to parity. I'd love it to skyrocket back. Bad for the country, but great for me, because all of a sudden, all of the stuff's a lot cheaper. He said we won't get back to parity. In his view, it will be somewhere between 0.75 and 0.9. So 90 cents. So at the moment, I heard this morning it was 90.1 or 91 cents or something like that. All right, so unfortunately the bad news is good for the country because I want to see us exporting. The bad news is I'm not going to have cheaper laptops and devices for you, unfortunately. I can't draw pictures. I did have a slide of my 2 account managers. So schools at Dell, don't ask me why, the government schools, some of you might be non-government here, it's split up into basically large senior and primary and some other seniors. I have 2 account managers that look after that. So some of you might have dealt with Anwar, some of you might have dealt with Kane. This picture clearly shows that they have the good looking ones out in the field, all right? And you leave the ugly ones back at the office. I said to the guys, I'd tell them about that. All right, thank you. Here we go, products. Last thing before I show you products, you're never going to see products. I've got a picture of, just one picture, I'm a picture kind of guy. I've got a picture of Jason and the Argonauts, right? And he's on, and this is my most important slide for the day, amazingly. So I've got a picture of Jason and the Argonauts, and he's on a boat. Now, if any of you know your Greek mythology or whatever, Jason's there going through this pass where the sirens are trying to lure him to his death, right? So he gets the crew to put wax in his ears, in their ears, so that they can row. All right, and they won't be lured by the sirens, and he gets tied to the mast because he wants to hear the sirens, but not be lured in. I am the siren. I'm the guy from the Dell that says we can save a few dollars by not buying Pro Support. No matter what I say and no matter what pressure we are under, you are never ever to listen to this. So Pro Support, if you buy servers from Dell, it's just not, it doesn't come up with discussion because it's so cheap, it just doesn't figure in the cost of things, and it's wonderful. If you buy end user devices, it's still cheap, but it's relatively speaking. So let's say there's a device, and the other thing you want to learn about me is I am not afraid. Remember, I was a customer like you until recently. I can't stand the IT guy that turns up and doesn't tell me how much stuff costs. In fact, that's the first thing I want to know, because if it's dear, don't waste my time, right? If it's cheap, well, that might change the discussion, all right? So I always talk prices, but those 2 account manager guys I showed you, they shoot me most days because I make up stuff as I go along and I get it wrong. That's why we have account managers to get it right. But I'm going to give you my best ideas. So let's say I'm selling you a laptop for $650. Pro Support is in the order of $40 for 3 years. What's the difference? The difference is simple from my point of view. Pro Support builds my relationship with you people here. Standard support destroys it. Now, it's a bit tough to say that about Dell. There are times, there's 1 or 2 times I can think of where standard support would do the job. Pro Support, the guys are in Sydney, right? And for those of you in the audience today who are technical and ever rang them, they know that you know what you're doing. And that saves you so much time and pain, because most of you here, the technical people, will have done 90% of the diagnosis before you get on the phone. If you go offshore with standard, they will make you do all that diagnosis again and send you mental. Eventually you'll get the call logged and it'll get fixed next day. Pro Support, please, particularly for these devices and things, but it's not that expensive. Accidental damage is another matter. All right, very quickly, products. Let's start with it. Thank you very much. Look at that. Thank you, Liz. The only reason I'm showing it to you is because I've got it, and it's got to go back to Sydney. I got it down from Sydney. It's brand new. It's a brand new device from Sydney. It's got to be returned tomorrow. It's an XPS 12. It's been on board all this year. It'll be our flagship in terms of devices for schools. All right? I'm going to do what I said I'd do. Let's talk money. At least $1,100, maybe up to $1,200. All right? Can we sign up now? Because if you can buy enough of these, I can take the rest of the year off. It's a fabulous device. Titanium frame turns into a proper tablet versus a proper notebook, either way. But obviously it's a high-end commercial device. Only a handful of schools, if that, could afford it in government. But having said that, when you go, my options are gone. For schools, one of the things is where schools do go, we'll nominate devices and we'll get parents to purchase off a portal. And Dell supports that, and DataFlex supports that, our partners support that. We can do that in any way you like, right? You can have it on there as an option where a family can buy that device if they want. So you've got those options as opposed to we'll buy all the same. Very nice device. Look, come and see me afterwards in terms of specs and things. It can be processed up any way you can imagine. Solid state drive, all that sort of stuff. Probably not the most relevant, so we'll give that back to Liz. Let's go to the next one. The next one I don't have, so I don't have to worry about it. 6230. Hold on. Let's write these down, and you're not allowed to take photographs either. This pervasion of cameras into the go. So XPS 12. I like talking money. All right. Next one down. 6230. This is a good little product. It's 12.5 inches. And I've got a price. $760. Oh, look. Today's special $750. Until you get a quote, then it'll be about $780, and then the account managers add all sorts of stuff on. Very good. It's been around last year. It's absolute commercial quality. It's going to be going right through next year. Right? Something to consider for a very good quality. Stephen, you guys are looking at that one to my mate. So this school, they've had a good look at what's on the card, and that's available. I'm going to talk about new products in a second. All right, 6230. Nice, neat little unit. I've got one show. It looks, well, that's an XPS 13. That's my one. You know, it's a little bit smaller, a bit similar, and a little bit thicker. It's not the XPS. All right, what else have we got? 3330. Have we got any more devices?
Oh.
Did we bring any more devices? I'll show the 3330. I'll show you the other one while I'm waiting. Yeah, can you just grab that one that's on the left, please, Stephen? 3330. I'll write it up as we go. 3330. This one's of interest. It's 13.3 inches. All right. So I know size matters. It's 13.3 inches, and designed for education, brand new. Stephen's got it there right now. Just hold that up for me, Stephen, will you please?
It's hard to see from down the back, but it's...
You could parade and model that round, you know. 33. This isn't on the panel, but that doesn't matter. $580. Now, again, can be spec'd up any way you want. That sort of price, you're looking at 4 gig, no touch, 4 gig, normal hard drive, 320 gig hard drive, nothing solid state here. But simple, robust design for schools, designed for the education market. So that's probably, you know, at the sweet spot of what I've got now. All right, 3330. What else have I got on the thing over here? That's probably, there's also 5530, which is a 15-inch, and there's a new model out on that as well, 15-inch. If you want to go big, some schools do, a lot don't. My price on that for you is, again, it's about $750. Right? You get a bigger model, but it's an older generation than the 6 Series. All right, now, where's it gone? Latitude 10. Oh, that's my new model. Tablet, Lat 10. So this is 10.6-inch tablet. This is my show special price. It's actually not a show special price. We're offering it to everyone, but not for very long. Dell, I've got a question.
The outgoing model or the incoming model?
Neither. But it's a good question. I'm going to talk about new tablets in a second. So it's a relevant question. It's current model. It's been here all this year. Outgoing by definition, it's going to go all next year before it goes out. But yes, it's going to go out. So when you say outgoing, it sounds like it's being replaced next week. It's not. It is good for all of next year. So that one, do I have one round? Did anyone bring any? Stephen.
Yes.
Where's my next? Can you grab a tablet on the left-hand table? There's hundreds of them there. All right, Brett, I've got it. Thank you. Thank you. You should wind down. So Latitude 10 tablet. You've probably seen stuff on it. It's an Atom processor, but it's a good Atom processor. Right? I don't want any biases here. 2 gig standard. Don't think it can be changed. 64 gig solid state drive. Full HDMI, full USB. A full Windows 8 Pro device, right? And you're going to see stuff today about using tablets. You know, this is where we're going to go. It might not be right now, but we're going to see more and more of it. I know from the discussions, and I know what's happening in terms of sales of tablets. So have a look, come over and have a look at them, and also we're going to pass some of those out and, you know, have a go with those. All right. Specs for 3330, there's nothing particularly exciting there, so I'll move on from that. Latitude 3330, 6230, I'm just looking for specs. The 6230, as I say, you can have any processors you want, from Celeron right up through the whole core range. Latitude 10 tablet, full Windows 8, very secure device, and you can obviously manage it. For your technical people, you can manage that device just like you would manage a normal laptop. Image it, all that sort of stuff, same sort of security. XPS 12, i5 and i7, 4 gig and 8 gig, starts at 128 solid state drive. It's expensive, but it's great. tablet notebook. All right. Oh, this is a great device. I wish I had one of these to show you. I've got a picture here. XPS 18. Now I've jumped the gun here because this is not on the cart today, but it's coming. Now I got told when I joined Dell in February about this tablet, XPS 18, and I thought, this is fantastic. What it is, take this tablet and multiply it sort of by 2 in every direction or 3. It's an 18-inch, 450mm tablet. Now it's no good for your students, but great for educators, little presentations, etc. Available at the start of October. I was trying to sell them in May and my account managers went ballistic because they're not available till October. But I was told it was going to be available in May. Large tablet, carry it around easily. I've seen reviews on it. Just keep your eye out for it. If you get emails from me, this is my favourite product, even though I'll sell 4 of them, but still. And $1,100. XPS 18 was a bit of a problem that in May I'd sent an email out to my few contacts saying, great device, buy it, it's not available, $850. Now it's $1,100. But that's what happens with exchange rate or incompetent account manager, account executive. So about $1,100, and it's an 18-inch tablet. All right, so on that, let's move on to new products. And more XPS 18, Dell Tablet Advantage. Oh, Dell Optiplex. For those of you who are still buying workstations, and many of you do because you've got a specialist lab, etc., Optiplex series. So Optiplex series, there's a whole series of standard workstations, but my favourites, and I can't show you the picture, all in one. 90/20, all in one. And it's only, it's you know, where the same power in a standard desktop might be, I'll say $800, it'll be $950 for an all-in-one. So just keep that in mind. But they're very, very neat if you need to see them. One blue cable, one power lead, good to go. Easy to move, though they're relatively heavy, so kids won't nick them. You won't be able to see it. I've got a bigger picture. So it's just, I mean, it just looks like a big, sort of screen there. But I've seen them in schools where I've sold them and they're very nifty. All right, they come in touch and non-touch. Just keep it in mind if you're doing labs, etc. 90/20 Haswell core, Haswell up to Core i7, and all the good gear. You can't see it, but that's a good thing. I've got a picture of a jet here. I've got a picture of my favourite jet. Does anyone know what jet this is? Sorry? No. Oh, it is too. Hey, does this mean my cue that I now have to get off? I'll better wrap up quickly, and that way I've got myself ready. Can you see this plane? Does anyone know what this plane is? Blackbird. Yeah. Well, almost stealth. Was so fast. Blackbird SR-71. We've run out of the lights. I've been caught by the lights, but this slide is about. Keep in mind something in general. Dell worldwide, from selling that stuff, makes, I don't make it up, 20-25% of its revenue, right? And falling, right? We sell a lot of enterprise stuff, and many of you here would know we sell servers and storage, but more importantly, we sell software. Let the air out. We sell software and services in increasing amounts. So, and I know generally it doesn't apply to schools, but keep in mind, if you've got a complex thing with your AD, if you're going to do something with SQL, if you're going to do a complex storage thing that's going to be a week's work, right, and you want specialists, give me a call, right? We sell software and services, all right? I could talk about jets all day, but not today. Computer room. Just about last product. Oh, no, not last product. I've got I'm keeping my best for last. Is that still got the computer room up there? Yeah. Again, that's another view of the Newcomb Secondary College computer room. Vertex. Vertex. Now, I'm not your enterprise guy, storages and servers, but I still sell it to you. Who gave me this text back? Vertex. This is a really, really relevant product for you guys because it's a little data center in a box. The box is about this big. It can sit out. It doesn't have to be in an air-conditioned environment. right? It's very cost effective. Now don't let me make up prices here because I could say anything. I'm going to say $15,000, but that's you probably got the case for that. Okay, that's fine. And then I'll let him get, will you give them a price on Vertex?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, basically what you've got is, you've got switching, storage, blade set up for servers, everything in the one box. So you don't have to do complex cabling, etc. It does effectively like a little baby SAN, like a little small SAN, without having to do the complexities of those larger environments. Slide on storage, performance devices. I never think about them, but you might. Alienware, you know, the very flash gaming laptops. And think about, I asked you to think outside the square. You're going to see gaming and learning maybe coming together. They probably do already. And also precision workstations. For those you might have a specialist lab, or you want a specialist 3 or 4 or 5 machines that do really high-end performance. All right. I've got a slide that says how to pay for it. That's Liz's session, financing. And the last thing I'm going to show you, I'll just show you about a couple of new products to finish.
There is information brochures on all of these products we've been waffling on about outside.
Thanks for that vote of confidence, Liz.
Listen, you know, I like to back you up.
A couple of things. What's that? I always trouble myself. This goes back to Sydney tomorrow. This is my $10,000 laptop. So don't anyone nick it today, or I'll be in more trouble than I know what to do. If I could sell you a few of these, that would really help out the numbers. The reason this is $10,000, the hinge is a bit dodgy, right? This doesn't exist yet. It's $10,000 because it's made out of timber. So if you look at the USB ports on the side, there aren't any. There's just little indentations. This is made by Model Maker. This one is really, really relevant, but I'm not going to go on about it because I haven't got it yet. My story is, so this is future products, my story is this will be available mid to end of October. In fact, it's meant to be start of October, but I'm doing it because I know we'll be late. This is a pretty good device for schools. It's got a couple of problems that we're going to fix. I'll tell you about that. But why this is a good device is $490. It's Haswell, right? Battery goes for over 10 hours. It's touch. Where it's been at schools where the kids have had a look at it, they've absolutely loved it. I haven't had it, but it's been in Melbourne before. It was in Melbourne at a few schools, and the kids flocked to it because it looks like, you know, an XPS, the Ultrabook type thing. So it looks fabulous. It's the right price. It's the best price I can do anyway. It's got everything going for it. It's got 2 limitations, which we are working very hard to fix. The first is, as it comes out in October, I could be looking at only 2 gigabytes. Having said that, I was talking to a school last week, right, in Melbourne, and the guy there said, I don't care about 2 gig as long as it's got a solid state drive, which it does because it'll still do the job fine. But the majority of schools say we want 4. So we're working on getting 4. And the other thing is it's only got a 2.4 gig radio, but I'll have that fixed with a dual radio when it comes out. So with all of that happening, I'm saying about $550 for what will be a very good looking device. But it's not here now. If we get held up one way or another, it's not going to be here. All right. Last thing about new products and things, tablet. All right. Can't show you a picture. Looks just like, yes I can. It looks just like this one pretty well. We've got a new tablet coming out again in October. All right. Where it's superior to this tablet is, it's Haswell. It's full Windows 8, which this is as well. It's got docking and snap keyboard, so it's got a snap keyboard option as well. It'll be extra. Intel Pentium and up to 4th generation cores, so it's got great processors. It's Haswell, blah blah blah. It's not here yet, and it will be dearer. I mean, it will be considerably dearer. I don't know myself. Stop asking the tough questions. So there'll be half the room might not know about Haswell, and the other half will know it much better than me. But I'm going to have a shot, and anyone put their hand up and correct me. Haswell is the next generation of. It's actually out now, I think. It is out now. Next generation of Intel processor, right? And it's basically operating at much lower voltages than your standard processors have been previously. The 2 layman's benefits that I'm going to give you that I understand are, 1, because of that low power consumption, obviously for the same battery it's going to go much longer. That's a real plus. Not a big deal in desktops, which you're going to see it appearing, but it's a big deal in these devices. And the second thing is 30% faster or whatever it might be. So new generation of processors that we'll all want to be on. But, you know, it's still coming out, and that sort of stuff's going to be dearer. You guys still going there? Do you want me to keep talking?
No, that's all right. I'm sitting there.
All right.
We're getting back on track with our program.
Just before we do that, any questions? I mean, you can see me later. Any questions about anything I've made up? No dramas? All right.
What's the price of the new tablet?
Don't know. I literally don't know. And, you know, even the price of my $10,000 laptop is estimated, but at least they've tried to estimate that. I'm not allowed to tell you. You know the thing, if I tell you, you know what's going to happen then. I've got the squad out the back, you'll be shocked. It's got a code name. It's, listen, Inspiron 11.6. That's all I'm allowed to say about it. Oh, by the way, everyone here is on a non-disclosure agreement with me. If you have it, you're not allowed out of this building, because I could cost me my job. All right? So, yeah. Inspiron 11.6, you don't know its model number. Again, that's why I've got a wooden one. If we were closer, I'd have a prototype to show you. Sorry? No, I don't think so, actually. I don't know. I think the department hired me for 3 months, and I stayed for 6 years, and they said that's enough, right? I love them to death. Between them and Kevin Rudd, I stayed employed during some very tough times. All right, I'll let